Having played RuneScape since 2003, on and off of course, I feel like I know almost everything about Classic. However, go back 6 years to 2017 and there were a lot of things I didn't know, some of which may be surprising. Most of these aren't specific to Classic itself, but I learned about them by playing and streaming Classic and chatting with other players. So, here are 7 RuneScape Classic facts that I was surprised to learn. Number 1. Higher tier pickaxes don't increase efficiency. As a kid, one of my biggest goals in RuneScape was to get a rune pickaxe so I could mine coal faster, which kinda meant sorting faster and getting money faster. It was the best pickaxe in the game, everybody wanted one. Well, I didn't learn until just a few years ago that adamant and rune pickaxes did not increase your mining efficiency at all. They only increase the number of swings your character takes before he or she stops trying. Essentially, this means if you don't mind clicking on the rock very frequently, a rune pick is really no better than a bronze pick. I would expect most RSC players to know about this, especially veterans. Yet, for some reason, as of just 3 years ago, I didn't. It wasn't until a Let's Play Open RSC stream where someone in chat mentioned it. Number 2. Poison eventually wears off. When you get poisoned in RSC, you drink an anti-poison potion to cure it. But did you know that the poison effect eventually goes away even if you don't drink that potion? I'm really curious to know how many people didn't know this. I only realized this a few years ago when a friend and I were discussing the Wilderness Only Hardcore Iron Man Challenge. I was anticipating that if I get poisoned by a poison spider on the way to KBD, that was gonna be a game ender pretty much. Because for some reason, I believe that poison never went away until you cured it with a potion or died. At which point my friend laughed at me and told me that poison eventually wears off. I think I got the idea that poison never wears off from one of my first RSC private server experiences. In the 2010s somewhere, I logged into RSC emulation and entered a dungeon near Edgeville where I got poisoned. Quickly walked back up the ladder and into Edgeville Bank asking for a potion. At which point, some player in the bank rudely declined and told me I was gonna die. This is about the time I realized private server communities can be not so great. Number 3. Draynor Cabbages increase defense. Did you know there is an item that increased your defense that isn't a potion? I don't remember exactly when I learned this. I have faint memories of hearing about it in Discord servers in the last 5 years or so, but I don't think it really hit me until the last 2 to 3 years. Basically, those cabbages that you aren't supposed to use on the whole in the Black Knight's Fortress quest, those that grow in the Draynor Manor side garden, not only heal 1 HP, but also boost your defense by 1. These cabbages came in clutch in the Gauntlet streams that I did last year. I wonder if anyone ever used them in free-to-play PKing. Number 4. You can fight Wyson. Every time I've ever done the Pirate's Treasure quest, the final step has always been simple. Dig at the specific point in the garden, get the loot, quest complete. However, I recently learned that it is possible for Wyson the Gardener to attack you if he is close enough. I never got this to happen to me in official servers, but I was able to reproduce it in OpenRC's framework. Would be cool if Jagex added woad leaves to his drop table. Number 5. There was a left-click attack range in the Wilderness. As we all know, you can only attack other players within X levels of your combat level, and X is the Wilderness level you are currently in. So if you're level 30 combat and you're in level 10 Wilderness, you can attack level 20s, but anyone up to level 40 can also attack you. However, did you know that a different rule determined whether you could left-click another player to attack them in the Wilderness? Apparently, on the default client, maybe others as well, you could only left-click another player that was 0 to 4 combat levels lower than you. So if they're level 25 and you're level 30, you would have to right-click them and click attack. I only learned this a little over 5 years ago. Number 6. The spacebar key resets the AFK timer. In RSC, there is a 6-minute AFK timer. If your character does nothing for 5 minutes, you will get a message asking them to move. If you don't, you will automatically log out after another 60 seconds. I guess this was used to prevent macroing. Well, something I didn't know until years after RSC closed is that you could reset this timer by pressing the spacebar. What? Apparently, it only worked a couple of times. You couldn't just do it infinitely and never log out. It did work in combat as well, so you could just hold your spacebar down, go AFK, and not log out for maybe 20 minutes. Wish I knew about that before the game went offline. Number 7. Monster level coloring. We've all seen this when right-clicking an NPC. There's a combat level associated with it, and a color associated with that combat level. As we grow our character, we see NPC levels turn from red to green. This must mean that our combat level affects that color, right? Not quite. An NPC's level color is actually based on your melee levels and hit points, not your combat level. The game uses a special formula, with a magic number of 27, to calculate a mock combat level, and then compares that level to the NPCs. I think I first learned this while working on my range pure in RC preservation. I couldn't help but notice that dungeon rats were still orange to me even at 30 combat. The formula was calculating my combat level as 11, which is lower than 16, therefore the orange coloring. I really can't believe how many things I learned about RC literally the year before it closed. Gotta thank my friends and the community for cluing me in on these things. Did you learn something new about RC in this video? If so, let us know in the comments. Until the next one.